Can the Edmonton Oilers make it 3-0 without Connor McDavid? Who knows? With wins against the Nashville Predators and Calgary Flames, the boys are back in Edmonton tonight for the Dia de los Muertos hockey game, the Day of the Dead, as they take on the New Jersey Devils, which I'm now thinking is part of Day of the Dead and Devils. Maybe there was a reason they actually picked that matchup. Hello and welcome to Pre-Gaming with BORDZY, brought to you by Sherwood Ford, the Giant for a reason. Let's check in with the chat. You know the drill. You say the first comment of the day, I'm going to read it no matter what. McKay and Dry is in with a simple, let's go. You like that? Luca's in. Just a classic cup year. Sadistic Angel, let's go. 3 for 3 with DJ Bean, says Connor McDavid. Southpaw as well. Shout out to the YouTube chat, because it turns out they can read, because that's right, people. We're going to be joined by, I think, every fan in Oilers Nation's favorite guy from outside of this Edmonton market. He bleeds orange and blue. He is an oil man, and I texted him today at like 1 o'clock being like, what day do you want to come on? Do you want to come back on the show? The chat's been asking. And in classic DJ Bean fashion, he said, how about today? How about in literally a couple hours? So I'm always excited for that. He brings the energy. But tonight's, it's Monday Night Hockey, and it's on Prime. If you've seen the commercials, tonight is the Amazon Prime game. There it is. It's Monday, and it's on Prime. So means you're not going to be able to watch this one on Sportsnet, which, of course, means back-to-back games without Jack and Louie. Ugh. We're blessed. That's a good problem to have, because we get them for 80 games out of the year, or roughly 80 games of the season. But we're going to have to go without them. Make sure you're logged into your Amazon Primes on your TVs, because I totally forgot that this was and just spent 10 minutes trying to remember my password to my Prime account. But we are logged in at the office, and we are ready to roll. But sadly, no Jack and Louie. We actually had Louie DeBrusque on Oilers Nation Every Day earlier today, and it was very funny to talk to him about, like, so what do you do during the game when you're not calling it? Because obviously Jack Michaels is still doing the radio. You can listen to Jack Michaels if there's a way. Alexa, Jack tweeted out, Alexa, if you have a Google Home or something, she can sync up the radio to your TV. I don't know how to do that, and I'm a guy who works in live production. Probably a tough look for me on that one, but I digress. We had Louie on today, and it was funny to ask, so what did you do during the game yesterday? And he said, just like every one of you, I sat in my basement and I screamed at the top of my lungs while his wife and family got concerned for his well-being in the basement. One of us, baby, one of us. Oh, we should have invited him to come here. I'll just send him a late text. I'm sure he's not busy at all right now, but it's Amazon Prime game. And tonight's, I do not have a co-host this evening, as you've noticed on the one shot here all by my lonesome, but I'm not here all by my lonesome, because people, today he's back. It's not just a BORDZY show. It's the Brett and BORDZY show, as everyone's favorite jolly producer, Brett Holden, is back. You weren't wearing that purple bandana for most of the day today. No. Then you threw it on last minute, getting into character. Brett, I missed you. I loved you. I know you were caught up to date, but you were out on vacation. You were in LA. You were in Mexico. You were on a cruise ship. Yeah. And I'm curious, tell me all about it. Tell all the fans about it. We've regaled in some stories today, but I pretty much left most of it for right now.
Yeah, no, it was a lot of fun. I was actually in Mexico for Dia de los Muertos. Can you tell I just came back from Mexico?
Dia de los Muertos.
Dia de los Muertos.
And your hand has to go like that.
I watched Coco. No, it was fantastic. The one highlight that I continually bring up was when we pulled into Mazatlan, and we heard a firefight of the cartel, which was awesome. Great. Then found out that there was a Canadian travel advisory for Mazatlan, so it didn't go out there for too much, but it was fantastic. It was a great little break. I'm super happy to be back. And BORDZY, Bread, and DJ Bean. It's the Triple B show, baby.
I'm more of a big baller brand kind of guy when it comes to the Triple Bs. I also used to call it the Big BORDZY brand. It was my spinoff as well. If I got my own
clothing line jersey.
Who knows? Hey, buddy, Lonzo's back. Okay, don't even get me started on Lonzo. Also, timeout. You know the drill. super chat in the chat as Southpaw's in, and he said the DJ Bean super chat. Reminder once again, we are not pocketing this super chat money. It is going to a charity. It's going to a charity very near and dear with everybody's hearts. We just have to wait before we can announce it, but come on now. It's going to be worth it. It's going to be well worth it. And when you guys all find out where it's going, you're going to be happy about it. Amanda's in. I'm late. DJ Bean is here. No, he will be here in approximately 14 minutes, I do believe. So the way I even said it too is, I don't know, it's back to back. We did pre-gaming yesterday. Shout out to Zach. Shout out to Liam. But we're on a back-to-back today. Not a ton has changed. There are some lineup changes. But first 20 minutes, we're catching up with Brett. Next 20 minutes, we're catching up with DJ. Final 20 minutes, we're going to kind of do the entire show with all of the ad reads because that's what we're going to do. But Brett, you've been gone for 2 weeks, correct? It was 2 weeks that we were gone. So
should have said C.
You did make it nice. Dios muertos, brother. But you still made it to the YouTube chat a couple times throughout your vacation. I was very appreciative of that. You also came in and were chirping not only me, but my vehicle as well, because it's not a Sherwood Ford mobile.
Yes.
So those chirps do stand. But want to get you caught up and the chat caught up on everything that happened in the last 2 weeks because boy, oh boy, there was quite a bit. You left at kind of the perfect time because the following game, obviously, bad things happened. But they had their last game. You did was a 4-1 loss to the Dallas Stars on a Saturday. Don't worry, got even worse. They lost 3-2 to the Carolina Hurricanes.
Later in
that one was in overtime. Then trying to right the ship, right? They went out and, for lack of a better word, absolutely shit-pumped the Pittsburgh Penguins by a score of 4-0 in that one. Stuart Skinner was incredible, not overly tested, but when he was, he stood tall, made 27 saves for the shutout. Then it was a 3-2 win, OT style, over the Red Wings when Calvin Pickard got the start there. And then the unthinkable happened and the bad stuff happened as Connor McDavid went down with an ankle injury. First shift of the game, I don't even know if it was 30 seconds into the game. Also, lately in Oiler games, the first minute has been jam-packed with stuff going on. So let me know in the chat what happens in the first 60 seconds of tonight's hockey game as well. But he goes down. We end up losing that game 6-1 to the Columbus Blue Jackets. Panic might have been at an all-time high. I did not press the panic button, but I definitely opened up the drawer and pulled it out because that was just a brutal effort through and through from the entire team. But what do the Oilers do in response? They go out and they dominate the Nashville Predators like they always do. Then they grab a win against their Highway 2 rival in the Calgary Flames. And all in all, brother, 6-5-1, 12 games into the season. Pretty good considering everything that's happened. And may I remind you, at the 12-game mark last season, we were 2-9-1. So, as I said, all things considered, you got to be pretty happy with what's going on right now. But, Brett, are you caught up? Do you have any questions?
I'm caught up. I have a funny story, actually, about the McDavid injury because I did not have any internet whatsoever because that day was when we were in Cabo. And I'm not going to use my whatever data down there. So I was in a tugboat on the way back, or whatever boat on the way back, passenger boat to the cruise ship. And that was when I started getting all the notifications like McDavid's out, McDavid's out, McDavid's out. I was like, in a boat full of other people. I went, what happened? I'm like redo very little, whatever. And I'm just re-scrolling, trying to refresh, trying to get it. And I'm like re-watching it as close as I can as we're pulling up to a tugboat.
Trying to zoom in on my little screen.
Yeah, I'm like, where's it? What ankle is it? Well, he didn't twist it. He's okay. Yeah, no, it was questions. We're fine. We're good. It seems like things may be better than we thought initially. So that'll be good. No real questions, but it sounds like we have a new fan favorite since I have left, and it's almost like somebody called it before it happened.
I made a lot of jokes to Pat during the time frame, and I was like, well, if Pods was going to be Brett's new guy the whole time, I mean, he really messed up at the time he left because Pods, he's found his way into my heart. I made this joke, knock on wood. He could literally do nothing else for the rest of his Oilers career, and I would look back on it fondly. I'm a simple man. All it takes is 2 punches. I made the joke to you. We're still referencing Gaetan Haas taking a clapper against the Ottawa Senators in a game that meant nothing. So Podkolzin, he's in my heart. And it hasn't just been Leon Draisaitl. It's been that whole entire line of Victor Arvidsson and Podkolzin. And they are a gelling right now. But the big story, obviously, since you were gone, is Connor McDavid. He's got that injury. It was projected to be out for 2 to 3 weeks. And Tyler, the way he said it today, and it's not a blessing that Connor McDavid got hurt, but it can be a little bit of a blessing in disguise because Leon Draisaitl has woken up and is dangerous right now for the Edmonton Oilers. His reemergence, it's been awesome of him being a top 3 NHL player, and he ain't 3 as far as I'm concerned right now, but he's got 3 goals and 3 assists in his last 2 games played. He's really put the team on his back. We all talked about that. Hey, on paper, it's one of the best situations you can be in, that you lose the best player on planet Earth and you can replace him, like I said, with a top 3 player on planet Earth. But it should not come as a surprise to us that he is playing this good without 97. It's all he's ever done whenever 97 leaves the lineup. And we've all heard the McDavid merchant bullshit from time to time. And he's showing yet again he can carry his own line and straight up can carry his own team. His chemistry, like I mentioned, with Victor Arvidsson, it has been building. They have a little bit of that European connection going on right now, but it's been Vasily Podkolzin as well. I've made the joke. Did not have Podkolzin circled in my top 6 spot at game 9, 10, 11 of the season, whatever it was, but he's 23 years old. He's young. He's a former first-round pick, and he's starting to look pretty good out there and looking pretty comfortable. I've made some comments that it's tough to play with a guy like Leon Draisaitl, and he's doing it pretty well. Obviously, rocking Jeremy Lauzon shit. I'm going to defend you in every sense of the word, every chance I can get. But that now first line of Draisaitl, Arvidsson, and Podkolzin, they've been cooking. I believe this is now game number 5 in a row of them staying together. So we have been blending a little bit less. There will be some changes to the lineup tonight, but not to that top 9 forward group. And I don't know, I'm liking what I'm seeing. And clearly Chris Knobloch is liking what he's seeing too, because he hasn't been blending.
Well, and I like the energy that Podkolzin brings to, and we saw it from not just game 1 of the regular season, but we even saw it during the preseason as well. Him laying hits, him winning battles, and being able to get the puck to the guys who, I mean, he can do stuff with the puck as well. I mean, he was a top 10 draft pick for a reason, but he's able to get the puck to guys who are in open areas, who can do something with the puck. And okay, secondary assist. Why not? I don't think he has a secondary assist this season so far, but just saying, moving forward, that's the type of work that you want, especially if you're a guy like Leon Draisaitl. Just find open ice, let him win the battle, and then you have Victor Arvidsson as well to clean up the mess. So I've really liked it, and you mentioned it's the 5th game in a row for this line. I was curious as to what you think as to his sustainability. Obviously, in the top 6, I mean, and obviously there's only so many games that they've played, and I liked what Gregor said this weekend about you can't really form an opinion truly on a player 10, 15 games in, or 5, 10 games in.
Oh, I could try.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing, and that's what I'm going to try and pry out of you right now. What do you think? How sustainable is it? And do you think that he could potentially be a Draisaitl winger?
So for the longevity factor of this, if you put a gun to my head right now, which please don't, I would say no, I don't see the longevity in the top 6. When you look at this team completely healthy, like if we're talking playoffs, your Connor McDavid's coming back, you have an Evander Kane coming back, you've now got your Jeff Skinners in the lineup, your Arvidssons as well. But right now, I don't care who it is, as long as you're performing a record, we are 1 game above 500, you roll with what has been working. In my ideal scenario, I think if I were to be in dreamland right now, I'm going to put on my Chris Knobloch hat right now. My top line would be Skinner, McDavid, Hyman. Probably Evander Kane, if healthy, with Leon Draisaitl and Victor Arvidsson. And then I think I'd put Nuge with Adam Henrique and Connor Brown. As we'll get into it a little bit later, that third line, well, everyone else has been stepping up, 4th line included, but they've been doing it for the whole season. That third line is the one spot that offensively production-wise, maybe hasn't been up to par like the rest of these lines. And I do think Nuge on a wing with an Adam Henrique brings some of that offensive capabilities and ability to produce, put the puck in the back of the net. I shit you not, the guy scored 36 goals before and had 100 points, but I think that would help elevate that role. And hey, you can put Kane on that second line spot, granted he's not going to be healthy for a very long time. So until that's a thing, I think Pods would be there. But you look at Pod's game and like overall, that is kind of a fourth line grinder style, bang bodies, pucks deep, get on the forecheck. And I think he can do that on the top six. He can also do that on the fourth line. I don't know if other Oiler players could do that on the fourth line. So he's kind of just the odd man out in that sense. But if they continue to keep doing this for another 5-10 games, I ain't making any touches to anything in the lineup. Also, DJ Bean was in the YouTube chat himself as he was in here. He said 14 minutes. I'm running through walls. We got to like that. A lot of people in here. DJ Bean, get here quicker, get here quicker. Bo, just catching up. Let's see some more Pickard love. Well, Pickard's going to be getting his love tonight for sure. This one also made me laugh from Southpaw. Pods confirmed 2-pump chump in the best way, question mark? Hey, it's a race.
Same.
Same, but different as well. Another news of note, Brett. Zach Hyman is officially scoring goals again, baby. Let's all stand up. He's finally off the schneid, scoring in back-to-back games. Other news, Ekholm's on PP1 now. Skinner's with Nugent Hyman. Obviously, the return of Rico and Brown Mark. And that's pretty much it. But Bo just mentioned it. Let's give him some love because Calvin Pickard is going to get the start tonight. And I don't know if he's in the chat right now, so I'm going to need a vibe report from Pix here in the YouTube chat. But this is his 5th start of the season. He's been nothing short of solid. That is the word of choice that I keep using for Calvin Pickard. He's got 3 straight wins. He beat the Predators. He beat the Red Wings. Well, shit, he beat the Predators again. Here you see the numbers of one Stuart Skinner and Calvin Pickard beside each other. And he's had less appearances, but Picks 3-1-0. 247 with an 897. What would you call that? I'd call that solid goaltending from your 1B goaltender. In those last 3 starts, he's allowed 2 or less goals in all 3 of those. I have a ton of confidence in Calvin Pickard, but you guys already knew this about me. I might, to a fault, have too much confidence in both of these goaltenders. Stu, right, Brett? He's been up and down all season long. He's all over the place, but Pickard has kind of just been flatlined the entire way. You know what you're going to get, and he tends to stand up. Clearly, Nobby trusts him as he's giving him this game against the New Jersey Devils, who love to score goals. Fun fact, it'll be in our need to know as well. Picks beat the Devils twice last season. Got his first win in like 2 years last season against the Devils, but I don't know, your thoughts being away. Part of me wants to make an incredibly reactionary poll and just straight up ask the chat, who's better? Skinner? No, do it. Do it. Make a poll. I just want to know what they're going to say. Straight up, shot out of a cannon, gun to your head. Who is the better goaltender that you have more confidence in? Or whatever way you want to answer that question. I'm just curious because, you know, it's all over the place. We know with Stuart Skinner, especially in this market, guy could do anything. People are going to find a way to bitch about it. That same goes with Darnell Nurse. And Calvin Pickard maybe doesn't have the expectations of one Stuart Skinner yet, so we're just happy with whatever we're getting. But I'm curious. We'll let that one cook. But, Brett, your thoughts? You've been away. Stu, and, like, it's tough, right? Because he had a 27-save shutout, perfect against the Penguins. We're all singing his praises. 3 days later, absolute dog shit performance against the Columbus Blue Jackets. And we as fans had to sit on that for 6 days before he got back in the net again. And then Stu, we saw it last night. Totally good, totally solid. Had a 930, I believe. So it's all over the place. We love to overreact as a fan base. And I'm not going to lie to you, I do that too. And I might push some of that narrative as well, especially when I'm making bold polls in the YouTube chat. But Brett, thoughts so far on Calvin Pickard and Stuart Skinner? Is I don't want to compare them, but I'm going to compare them.
Well, and it's a natural comparison, right? You kind of have to, especially when you're goaltenders for the same team. And you know what? I'm always going to be a proprietor for Stuart Skinner. Right? He has proven, and I know a lot of people hate to hear that somebody has proven themselves in certain times when they sit there and say, no, he hasn't. But he has proven that you can win with him. I mean, we were a goal away from seeing him lift the Stanley Cup, and you still want to sit here and go, oh, I don't think you can win
there
with
it is.
him.
The impression's back. I missed that.
You're welcome. But you, in the same breath, you also have to say, you know what? Calvin Pickard also helped in that Stanley Cup final, or in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Where I'm bringing this all back to is they are doing their freaking job. If Stuart Skinner's not having a good night and you can put in Calvin Pickard and sit there and go, hey, let's ride this wave and whatever happens, and you do your job and we're comfortable with that, then everybody's doing their job. And are there going to be missteps here and there? Yes. But guess what, people? There's 82 games in a season. Listen, I can't count very well, but I know that's a lot of freaking games.
Can confirm.
I'm not very good, but there's a long way to go. I would have figured that by the time what we saw last year at 2-9-1, and we're the last team eliminated from the Stanley Cup playoffs, you would be able to sit there and go, okay, we got a little bit of runway. We've seen, I mean, look how good Skinner was at points against the Dallas Stars, being able to outplay Jake Ottinger in many of those games that eventually, brought you to the Stanley Cup finals. Oh, whoops, oopsies. And and again, there were times in those 3 games that Edmonton won in the final, there were times where he was out battling Sergei Bobrovsky. Several. Yeah, in those 3 games. There you go. And just to be able to sit here and lay on your laurels of, this guy stinks, is just, it's old now. I'm getting tired of hearing it. And it's the same kind of stupid shit from Darnell Nurse people. So I don't like it.
Hey, and we love you all. Keep subscribing, keep liking, keep watching, and keep commenting because I get paid off engagement. I see some people in here. K. Waddy, Pick Daddy Devil Slayer. We like that. Sadistic Angel Skinner still needs to prove himself, which some people in the chat are saying, well, he went to Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals. Sadistic Angel, straight up answer. He says that was last season, which, let me confirm, yes, it was, in fact, last season. But I do think it brings in a little bit as well. Also, Cody Cece is back in the chat right now, and he says, Skinny is my boy. I'm a big fan of Cody Cece, and I know one other man who's a big fan of Cody Cece, so let's get out to it. And this interview with DJ Bean is brought to you by Odd Company Nation Beer. Always got these bad boys on me, and we are pumped to partner with Odd Company Brewing to bring you the all-new Nation Beer Everyday Lager, perfect for the next big game or your new go-to lager. You can find it at Odd Company Brewing, or go to liquorconnect.com, and it will point out all the liquor stores in the city. I used it the other day. Never been to Jack's Liquor Store on 50th Street, but bam, they had it prepared for me, ready to go. And to be honest with you, I bought out the entire store, and I'm kind of already going down my flat and my supply. But let's move now, and let's bring him in. The chat has been asking me to bring him back. He is dressed for the occasion. He is ready to go. It is the one, the only DJ Bean from What Chaos. DJ, first things first, I miss you. I love you. The fans miss you as well. But the one thing I want to ask you, did you see that Drake May touchdown yesterday at the end of the game to tie it up? Because that was a thing of beauty. I am wearing my Patriots sweater today. I know nobody else in this chat cares or Brett cares, but it's my show and I care. And it was Lamar Jackson-esque on that play. And the classic, it was honestly the ideal way to lose a game because Drake May looks good and we also lose and are one step closer to number 1 overall. But thoughts on Drake May?
After years of having trash quarterbacks, for the Patriots to have a quarterback throw a who else scores that touchdown feels very, very good. So you being just over the moon is warranted because Patriots fans have seen a lot of terrible, terrible quarterback play the last few years. So I think Drake May's the guy. I'm ready to stamp the guy on him. Mac Jones was so not even close and everyone was trying to talk themselves into it. This is an actual quarterback prospect.
Yeah, and I hate to say it, I own a Mac Jones jersey. I also own a Drake May jersey as well. I got a Tom Brady. I got a Randy Moss. Go Pats, baby. Nobody lives in the past like I do as a fan of the New England Patriots. But let's move along here as well because, DJ, I speak for all of Oilers Nation fans when I say we love you and we have missed you. There's no better energy in hockey than it's DJ Bean talking about the Edmonton Oilers. So just want to ask you, how have you been? How are things going? I saw you and Pete were both just in Detroit for the weekend. Looked like an absolutely incredible time. Your Halloween costumes, I was laughing my ass off at those as well. But tell me what you've been up to, because What Chaos looks like it's crushing right now. I have been tuning in all the time. Got to get in the chat more, but look at that, man. I laughed my ass off at this when I saw this. And then it took me a minute to be like, wait a second, who's Pete? Then it hit me quickly, and I was like, oh my God, that's Bob Dylan, down to the harmonica and everything. But DJ, how you been? How was the trip? How was Halloween?
Great. I mean, there's like 26 people who have gotten that, who could have gotten that Halloween costume. So I'm very grateful, Bordsy, that you're one of them. Yeah, season 2 is off to a gangbusters start for What Chaos, which is amazing. We feel really good about the shows. A lot of the things we've been doing has been like catching on and getting traction, which is exactly what we want. Actually, I'll do a little peek behind the curtain. One of the things this year going into the season was we have captured one market. How do we capture, say, 31 other markets? And I was like, I really like the market that we've captured. Can we just try to capture like 2 or 3 other markets? And we're not changing anything we do. We're just talking about what's relevant. And the reason we talked about the Oilers last year so much was because the Oilers are what was relevant. Oops, the Oilers are relevant every day again. Guess we're going to have to talk about them all the time. We had a lot of fun with them today, theorizing what happens to Connor McDavid now that Leon Draisaitl has established himself as the best player in the world. Does Connor McDavid become a third-line center? That was our producer Sean's suggestion. I thought maybe try him out at the wing. It's a real embarrassment of riches up in Edmonton, so we'll take whatever they do.
It's a good problem to have up here. And I said, Connor McDavid getting injured is never a blessing, but it's kind of been a blessing in disguise because it has woken up one Leon Draisaitl. But talking about the Oilers as a whole now, because it was a less than ideal start to the season. Not as bad as last season. As I mentioned, we're 6-5-1, 12 games in. That is better than 2-9-1. But as an Oil man yourself, I'm sure you were prepared for the ups and downs, the roller coaster that is being an Oilers fan. And the start of the year was no different. The 3 words we heard a lot were Stanley Cup hangover. But it really does look like right now that the Oilers are starting to find their game. They're finding the line combos that are working. Draisaitl, Podkolzin, and Arvidsson, to be specific. And they're finding their groove. Nobby's letting these lines cook. And we're starting to see some improvement here from the Edmonton Oilers. So I'm curious your thoughts kind of overall for the first 10, 12 games of the season so far. And it's been a roller coaster, to say the least.
Yeah, I guess I'm not worried when they have those starts. I think more specifically, I was interested in some of the new guys because I know that if the team starts slow, McDavid and Draisaitl and Hyman, and like Hyman specifically, I wasn't worried about Hyman when he wasn't scoring, because I was saying to anybody who like bets or does DFS or whatever, just like hammer every other category with him because he's still getting his shots. He's still getting really good chances. He's just snake bit. So that's what was going on with him. Nuge, I didn't love his start, but like, what am I going to worry that Ryan Nugent-Hopkins is going to have a bad season? Really, the guy that stood out to me that I was kind of worried about was Ty Emberson, because I didn't have any proof of what he would look like going to a real pressure cooker like Edmonton. The season is long. We'll still see what he becomes, but he was somebody that I was hoping would immediately look like a good partner for Darnell Nurse. And then bam, you've got a really good top 4 and you can go from there. We saw what the penalty kill did last year. So if you kind of know what you have defensively, then I'm really thrilled with the Chris Knobloch operation. Obviously, things didn't start the way really for anybody that we thought they would, but by and large, I wasn't super worried. I heard you talking about the goaltending before. I don't think of myself as a Stuart Skinner Bobo, but I clearly am. I bought a Stuart Skinner Stanley Cup jersey. I own Stuart Skinner t-shirts. I am a Stuart Skinner Bobo, but I guess I'm a little surprised by how much the good of him is overlooked. Like, the story with him is that he's ups and downs, and the reason I think eventually the Oilers are going to get him on an unbelievable contract is because he's just not consistent. I'm not going to pretend he is consistent, but his highs are a lot better than some of the more steady Eddie's highs. So I will take the wild out of control high and the wild out of control low, because even when he lost a game 7 of the Stanley Cup final, was that like I hated the goal that he allowed to Sam Reinhart, but that was more on Brett Kulak than anybody else. Like, and even so, he allowed one goal that you hate. Really, like, is that drastic, out of control, terrible stuff? When he had to buckle down, he was really, really good. And I've seen people mainly comment on what Chaos stuff saying, like, if only the Oilers had a Jake Ottinger. I'll take, for what he's going to cost, I'm going to take Stuart Skinner over what Jake Ottinger is costing, because I don't think that Jake Ottinger is quite Jeremy Swayman at like his peak. So getting the same contract as him, I would rather another guy on his same number anyway. So I think that Stuart Skinner, honestly, is going to end up being the perfect guy for this team, cap structure wise, because my guess right now for him is he ends up getting something like 6x6. And if you're getting a guy who we saw last year can win a Stanley Cup and can co-lead you to a Stanley Cup, only making $6 million, that allows you to overpay in other areas, which, shout out Darnell Nurse, we know they are doing.
Yeah, thank you for that, Darnell Nurse mentioned there as well. But Stuart Skinner, right, he's already one of the biggest bargains in the crease around the NHL. He's now 26 years old. His birthday was November 1st, but this is why I love having you on, because you are maybe not too much in the Edmonton world, because everything you just said makes so much sense, and I agree with. And people that want to nitpick Stuart Skinner allowing that second goal in Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals, I say it was Sam Reinhart, a 50-goal scorer, and straight up, Skinner allowed 2 goals against in Game 7 of the Cup Final. If I had told any Oilers fan before that game, you're going to allow 2 against, you would have taken that smiling. I digress. That was last season, and I don't want to get frustrated again. But this year, we've lost Connor McDavid, obviously. Said he's going to be out 2 to 3 weeks, which I don't know if you saw today. He was already back on the ice, is already not ruling out a return on Saturday night against Vancouver. I swear McDavid heals like Wolverine. His bones are full of adamantium. I don't even know what's going on in there, but the reemergence, I should say, of Leon Draisaitl in that time frame has been stellar. He has put this team on his back. He has 3 goals and 3 assists in the last 2 games, but it hasn't just been him. It's been that line in general. Victor Arvidsson was one of the new acquisitions this summer, former 30-goal scorer multiple times in his career. And we thought Jeff Skinner was going to be on that line with Dry, but it hasn't worked out that way this year because one Vasily Podkolzin has stepped up, and he's already a fan favorite here. I'm sure you've loved him as well. All it takes for me, as I said, is 2 punches, absolutely rocking Jeremy Lauzon's shit the other night. That was incredible, but they have found chemistry on that line. They are cooking away right now. Arvidsson and Leon have this weird, I keep calling it the European connection, but it's kind of the perfect line, right? Arvidsson's the shooter. Podkolzin's the big physical body that goes in, mucks it up, retrieves pucks, give him the skill player. And Draisaitl is a playmaker who scored 50 goals 3 times in his career before. What a statement to say. But those 3 right now are the perfect chemistry, the perfect line, and I'm liking what I'm seeing from them. I'm curious on your thoughts as well of Vasily Podkolzin, and you saw that fight against Jeremy Lauzon, right?
Oh, yeah, I was watching it in the Airbnb with Sean and Pete, and all 3 of us were aghast, because I admittedly was not in on Podkolzin at all. I just kind of swallowed and said, I guess, when they traded for him, because they traded for him. I may have said something inappropriate. I didn't. I just meant like kind of like swallowed, like
You're good.
Gulp, one of those things. But whatever. Love is love. I viewed it as they're losing Holloway. They're getting a 3rd round pick. They're going to trade a 4th round pick for Podkolzin, a guy who at this point in his career is respectfully, endearingly a bust, and are just going to take their chances. This guy's probably going to end up on waivers or something, whatever. We'll just grab him. They wouldn't want to just give him to us. Cool, 4th round pick. We're getting the 3rd for Holloway. That put a bad taste in my mouth for a few reasons. I didn't like the idea that they were kind of blowing their profit margin on already losing Holloway for very little. Like Dylan Holloway, we all know, is worth more than the 3rd round pick. So I didn't like that out 4th round pick Dylan Holloway in 3rd round pick Vasily Podkolzin. I hated that trade-off, but it was the hand that they were dealt, and it's the way that they tried to get their way out of it. Pete Blackburn, my co-host, a hockey Hall of Famer, watch him on the Amazon thing. was way more intrigued by the Podkolzin thing. He loved him in World Juniors and really thought that he could be something. So I was like, all right, I'll take your word for it, but I'm not optimistic. And the last thing I thought he would be able to do would be to bloody Jeremy Lauzon, because Jeremy Lauzon is a bad dude. Like, not a person I would want to fight. Very nice guy, but not a person I would want to fight. And I don't know if you heard the ESPN broadcast, but they politely were basically saying, John Butchergross, who knows his stuff, was basically politely saying, oh no, what is Podkolzin doing? I would not be doing this. Oh my goodness, what has he done? We rounded 100 times. We thought that Matthias Janmark doing the cleanest delay of game penalty in the world was going to be the highlight of that game. And instead, it was the most direct, just smash of the forehead I've ever seen in my life. So good for him. He's proven me wrong so far. I'm definitely rooting for him.
Yeah, he's made his way into our hearts here in Edmonton. We fell in love with Klim Kostin, and now it feels like Podkolzin is more of the same. And I said, I'm a simple man. It takes literally 2 punches as well. Also, our pal Nathan's in. He said, holy crap, I joined late. And friggin' DJ Bean is on. DJ, you don't know how many people here in Oilers land just love you and love What Chaos. Like, I know you picked us as your fan base last season, and I have loved the Sabres content, the Wings content, but we will always be your first fan base that we feel like we brought you into the family, and we appreciate you.
You definitely were. You definitely, like, we part of this thing was when we're on the great All City Network, and there are various other shows like CHGO has a Blackhawks show that's amazing. There's a new Dallas show for the Stars that I want everyone to check out, and we'll jump on those things, but that was more kind of in the family. Oilers Nation was for sure the first group that was like, we're enjoying this show. We will let you guys come on from time to time. And that the fact that it was an Oilers show probably wasn't by accident, but I was over the moon that you guys were down to let me do stuff. Even when we landed in Detroit, we this past weekend, because we were doing stuff with the Red Wings, as we were walking out trying to find our Uber and everything, I was like, if this were Edmonton, someone will be waiting for me. Tyler will be there, the big old truck, and that's how the Oilers Nation people treat us.
We set the bar pretty high, and I think, hey, we can't get you free tickets to Little Caesars Arena, but you can come on down to Greta Bar-Yag, and I know you were here during the NHL playoffs with me. It was a ton of fun. On the other side of tonight's matchup, we got the New Jersey Devils coming in town. I'll be honest with you, we don't watch a lot of East Coast Devils hockey out here on the West Coast, but we know that they have a high-flying offense, tons of young skill all over the place. They love scoring goals, much like the Edmonton Oilers do from time to time. Jack Hughes, he's a superstar in this league. Jesper Bratt, he's been good. Nico Hischier is all of a sudden scoring 10 goals so far this season. He's finding his game. There was a lot of talk in the offseason, right? Goaltending kind of being the one thing that was holding this team back. They go out, they acquire Jacob Markstrom. I blanked on his name right there for some reason, but they brought him in. They brought in Jake Allen. Maybe the goaltending numbers, they're coming back down to earth right now. But overall, you're out there on the east side. What have you thought of the New Jersey Devils so far this season? And what should Oilers fans know about this team heading into tonight?
I mean, right now, last year's Devils team was what this year's Avalanche team is. If that's like an easier way to understand it from a West Coast perspective of it's good. They're going to figure it out at some point. They're a cup favorite. They're going to figure it out at some point. And then I know that we're only like 10, 15 games into the season, but in the case of the Avalanche so far, you're like, wait, is this not going to happen? That was the Oilers. Or, I'm sorry, not the Oilers. That was the Devils last year. And a big part of it was them not having goaltending, as you said. They get Jake Allen at the trade deadline, to which I was like, what? Who cares? Doesn't make a big enough impact. They were also without Dougie Hamilton for pretty much all of the year. Not only do they get a healthy Dougie Hamilton back, not only do they add Jacob Markstrom to make Jake Allen like a perfect backup. Then it all shook out. So their goaltending is squared away. Their defense has gotten better because they got Dougie Hamilton back. Not only did they get Dougie Hamilton back, they signed Brett Pesce, who missed the first however many games of the season, but he's been healthy and playing the last, I'll say 5 games or so. In addition to all the offensive stars that they have. So all the things that were supposed to click last year are now, and they have an even stronger roster, plus a new coach. And I don't know about you on Sheldon Keefe. I think that everybody in the world, even when he was in Toronto, I just kind of felt bad for him because he had to be the Leafs head coach, that I was like, I like this guy, like the cut of his jib. Now we can just outwardly express that we like the cut of his jib. So look, they're in a tough division. They're in a division with a Columbus team that is surprising a lot of people, with a Washington team that is crazily surprising a lot of people. Those were the Washington and Philadelphia, and when we did our previews, were the two teams that I thought could finish anywhere from first to last in their division, because it just like the range of outcomes was so vast, and so far everything's going great for the Capitals. So while the Devils clearly have shown that they are what we thought they would be, they're still right now a wild card team in the Eastern Conference, because the Rangers are still really good. The Hurricanes are the best team in the Eastern Conference, and the Capitals have gotten off to this great start. So the Devils should feel a lot better about where they are, but they really can't take nights off, because now it turns out they're in a very hard division.
Yeah, it's going to be tough for them as well. And that the Capitals is the one that I really don't understand. And we as Oilers fans losing 6-1 to the Columbus Blue Jackets. What happened in there? I mean, I guess you
lost
lose
a lot of money on that
97 game. Best player on planet Earth. That's going to happen to you. I got two more for you. The first one is Zach Hyman is finally off the schneid as he has scored in back-to-back games. You mentioned it off the top there. Oh, I'm very curious to what you're about to dig up behind you. But Hyman, he scored back-to-back games after oh, yeah, wait, hold on. Where did he score those 54 goals last season, DJ?
Right around the asshole, which is just this area is the asshole. That's where he gets his goals.
That's what he does. He gets in the
Now,
dirty areas.
Sometimes he goes from deep, which is right around there. That's from deep. But normally you're going to get like the asshole-ish area.
There you go. Biology with DJ Bean right there. My question to you, he's heating up. He's finding his game. But like you mentioned, he was pretty much, I'm not a stat guy, but he was leading the league in expected goals. It was bound to happen eventually. He was getting his shots. He was getting his chances. Maybe the puck luck wasn't there a little bit. I did think for a moment this year when they said the word significant presence in the crease and the Oilers' goals were getting called off, I was like, brother, that's his whole game. That's his whole MO. Is he ever going to score again? Well, he scored in back-to-back games. We're in game. This will be 13 of the season. My question to you, DJ, how many goals does Zach Hyman finish with this season?
It's a question we've been kicking around on What Chaos a lot. I'm still going to say 30. Oh, you're saying bumping up, wuss? Okay. So 30 was our, like, does he hit 30? And so what do you want me to do? You want me to go like 39? You want me to go? How about 55? How would he has
I'll
better
take
season?
55. I drink the Kool-Aid, so I think that 35-40 range. I probably would have said that coming into the season, but you go 10 games without scoring, those numbers could go down, but I don't know. It's just the way he's been playing. I have the utmost confidence in him. DJ, I got to move along here because I only have 15 more minutes left on the show, and I got to get some ad reads in. But Dayton is in with a super chat, $5, and he says, I see that Fender amp in the background. Play us a song, Deej. Are you musically inclined as well?
I am musically inclined. I love music, yes.
Can you play?
I can. Yes is the answer. Not well, but the answer, yes.
Okay.
I like to futz around with the instruments. I have a music room that is just a mess, but I love it.
Well, I can play Smoke on the Water and Green Day's Brain Stew. So you could say I am qualified as well. DJ,
someone knows the first 6 frets of the guitar.
Yes. We have an open invite for you here. Seriously. Oilers Nation every day, pregame with Bordsy, Oilers Nation After Dark. Come on, whenever you want, send me a text whenever you want, because as I said, I speak for everyone in the chat when I say we love you and we appreciate you, DJ B.
What Chaos is in very heavy talks to get to Edmonton this year, the whole show. That is the goal, and I think it's going to happen.
Woo! Oh, I love to get some Pete Blackburn and some Sean going on as well. I feel like you three and me, Ty and Liam, it's like the Spider-Man meme of just looking at each other being like, wait, holy shit, Brett, you're wearing that very shirt right now. What the hell?
Oh, yeah. Whoa.
Whoa. All right. Anyways, DJ, we love you. We appreciate you. And go Oilers, go.
Bye, friends. Go Oilers. I'm an oil man. You know it.
He's an oil man through and through, just like his boy HW. Brett, can you turn me down in the studio a little bit right now? Nathan's in. DJ, you are amazing. Thank you, DJ. Is he an actual DJ? No, maybe we should ask that question as well, as he had that amp behind him as well. Okay. We got 14 minutes here, so you ready to watch some real live hosting going on? Because we're going to get into our need-to-know info, brought to you by Wilhauk Beef Jerky, because only the finest tasting meat products earn that Wilhauk name, made from 100% pure Alberta beef. Their jerky is aged, seasoned, marinated, and smoked to savory perfection. Go check them out, WilhaukBeefJerky.com. So for the Edmonton Oilers tonight, we've got some lineup news of note. And Brett, let's just pull it up right now because we got to go a little bit speedier here. Lineup news we've got tonight. Derek Ryan will make his return to the Edmonton Oilers roster. As there you see it on your screen. We're going Skinner, Nuge, Hyman, Podkolzin, Draisaitl, Arvidsson. Top six stays the same as it has been. The janitor with Rico and Brown, also known as Rico, featuring Brown Mark. Then you've got Derek Ryan back in the lineup after missing the last two games. He'll play with Noah Philp and Corey Perry, meaning Drake Caggiula will be watching tonight's game from the press box. Fun fact about Derek Ryan on this one, he has 10 career points against New Jersey, which is tied for his most against any franchise. Derek Ryan goal, anyone? Just kidding. I don't think Bet365 even offers that as an option. The Oilers and the Devils, they met twice last season. The Oilers came away from that with 2 W's. They won the first one at Rogers Place 4-1. Then they won 6-3 in New Jersey. And our pal Cal got the start in both of those games. He had a combined .924 save percentage in those. So I've got the utmost confidence tonight in picks. Obviously, Stuart Skinner played last night in Calgary, but here we go. Pickard is proven, and he's done this before. We then move. Leon, he's done great against the Devils. I mean, he's probably done great against literally every team in the NHL. He has 11 goals, 19 points in 17 career games. Arvidsson has also succeeded against these Devils, might be mentioned in Bordzy's bankroll. He has 9 points in 11 games, and it's a revenge game for Adam Henrique, as Rico will be taking on those Devils. He was drafted 82nd overall in 2008, and his jawline still looks that good. He's like Nuge. They just don't age. But he played 455 games for the Devils, and in 12 career games, he's got 10 points, 7 of which were goals. Also like a Rico revenge goal, but I don't know, that third line maybe hasn't done enough for me this season. The Devils, they've been hot. They score goals. They rank among the top 10 teams in goals per 60, having scored 3+ in 11 out of 14 games so far this season. You got a good look at the head-to-head there. I say this on every show. Will we ever be having all yellow on all 4 categories for us? Because these aren't even close, man. I mean, maybe goals against, you could say that, but we're gonna have a tough test tonight with these New Jersey Devils. Now, they've only won 3 of their last 9 games. We remember they started the season overseas. They grabbed 2 quick dubs, and then since then hasn't been so good. They won 4 out of their first 5, but tonight it's gonna be the end of a Western Canadian road trip as well for the Devils. They beat the Canucks 6-0. I believe that might have been on Wednesday. And then they lost to the Flames 3-0 on Friday night. They actually spent the weekend in Canmore. Hopefully they went and hit up the Drake. If you've ever been there before, that is my favorite bar in that city. Finally, as we mentioned, Jake Allen, he gets the start tonight. Not great numbers. We'll show it in just a sec, but he's got a 3.75, 8.76. His last appearance was an OT loss where he allowed 3 goals on 30 shots. Before that one, it's pretty bad. He allowed 8 goals on 37 shots against the Lightning. I repeat, 8 goals on 37 shots. Hopefully we get more of that. Jake Allen this evening. Let's now move to our Sherwood Ford Giant storyline, brought to you by Sherwood Ford the Giant. Tired of dealership hassles? Well, Sherwood Ford and Sherwood Park is all about convenience and upfront pricing with their Giant Deal program. Get clear, no nonsense pricing on new and used Fords online with all incentives included. Plus, enjoy the ease of mobile service, free pickup and delivery, and same day or next day service appointments. As we keep saying at nauseum, it's winter tire season, baby. Get them changed over. And Sherwood Ford. Even if you don't drive a Ford, right, they'll change your oil. They will even store your winter tires at their shop. Sherwood Ford, the Giant for a reason. Don't make me say it again. But tonight, my storyline, well, there's a lot of ways that you could take this one, right? High-flying offenses, outscore your problems, get a quick start. The Oilers, as I said, first 60 seconds, keep your eyes peeled tonight. Don't blink because something's going to happen. But my storyline tonight is defense, defense, defense. Goaltending included as well. The Devils coming into tonight basically in the top 10 or just outside of the top 10 and basically every offensive stat category. They're 10th in goals, 12th in shots, 5th on the power play, 11th in shooting percentage, and doesn't take a genius to tell you you're going to need to play sound defensively, and that includes goaltenders as well. Calvin Pickard, sometimes you need him to be your best defender, but against this team, kind of like the Stars, right? If you make a mistake, they can kill you with quick strike offense, be up the ice immediately. So you can't be jeopardizing your defensive end to try and go score goals. You got to pick your moments well. Look at the back end included on that as well. And with the defense part, like, I don't know, today on ONE and last night on the After Dark post-game show, I believe it was the goal from Sharon Govich where there's lots of traffic in front of the net, and I'm not blaming Stu. It's hard to see that one, but there's Kulak, there's Emberson right in front of the net. Neither one of them is taking their stick and putting into somebody's spine. You got to clear the front of the net, get physical there, and make the Devils earn those goals. Brett, I don't know if you have a storyline different or if you agree with mine. Mine is defense, defense, defense. Look at those goal for per game for the Devils. They can light the lamp.
Yeah, no, mine's kind of basic, but I think depth needs to get going. I've really liked what Noah Philp, obviously, as mentioned, I've been out in the international waters with the Pirates, so there's only so much piracy that's going on. So there's only so much limited that I've seen from Noah Philp in these last 2 games, or his first 2 games, really. But I've really liked what he's brought. I've loved that line with Perry as well, with who's he with as well? Kajula, that's who it was. And I liked Kajula's game too. So I think just figuring out a way to get the depth on the score sheet again. We mentioned before we even started that, you know what, Corey Perry may not be the MVP right now, but he's certainly the MVC. MCP.
You fucked that up, dude. You fucked that up.
Get me out.
That was also what I said earlier today, too, but that was nice.
Hey, yeah, you're welcome. But the most consistent player, and being able to have a guy for Noah Philp in Corey Perry that's able to play kind of not a similar game to him, but has been able to play so long.
Perry's game now, you could say, is similar. Like, I don't think Philp has the 50 goal potential, but yeah, it's a great guy to learn from.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, they are very similar, and being able to learn from a guy who's been able to put the puck in the net a couple times in his career, I think is very promising. So I think just a little bit of depth scoring will be big for Edmonton tonight.
Ryan S., he's in, says Perry has been great. So he's the MCP, the most consistent player. For guys who talk for a living, you think we'd be able to do that and spit that one
We're
out.
not very good at it.
So I already showed you the Oilers lineup. Let's now take a peek at our Sherwood Power Sports and Marine starting goaltender report. Hit the trails this winter and the waves next summer. That is me surfing, because as fellow hockey fans, the team at Sherwood Power Sports Marine are helping Oilers Nation fans gear up. Home of an ATV for just $50 bi-weekly, or cruise that open water for as low as $105 bi-weekly this upcoming summer. When we put it like that, Brett, pretty much everybody here at the office, we should just pool in together. We can come up with $105 bi-weekly and have a company boat. I don't know about you, but I'm sold for that. Sherwood Power Sports Marine, your adult Toys R Us, as far as I am concerned. Brett, pull it up here, the tail of the tape between the 2 goaltenders. as we see Calvin Pickard. Hallelujah, baby. We've got yellow on our side tonight on this stat graphic. 247 goals against with an 897. Jake Allen, 2-1-1. 325 with an 896. We've already touched on Calvin Pickard. We are confident in him. Jake Allen, I don't know, give him some time. He'll find his game, I would assume, but hopefully not tonight. He's just been very inconsistent. Same deal with Jacob Markstrom as well. He's had great games. He's had absolute stinkers. Sound familiar? Maybe like our new 26-year-old goaltender in one, Stuart Skinner. We can now go to, let's just take a look at the New Jersey lineup brought to you by Greta Baryeg. You know him, you love him. That's all I got to say about that one. Just pull it up here, Brett. I don't even have to do this ad read. I've done it 100 times. Greta is awesome. Go party at Greta. Go get some food at Greta. Go have your arcade fun. But pull it up here for me, Brett. The projected lineup tonight for these New Jersey Devils. Top line, Timo Meier, Nico Hischier, and Dawson Mercer. Your second line, going to be Andre Palat with Jack Hughes and Jesper Bratt. That is a sick top six. That is a loaded top six. That kind of becomes a loaded top nine when you see Paul Cotter. He has 6 goals on the season. Eric Holla, he's got 4 or 5. Stefan Noesen is on my fantasy team. He's been a good pickup as well. Curtis McDermott, Justin Dowling, and Thomas Tatar are on the fourth line. Tata. And your decor is Brendan Dillon with a healthy Dougie Hamilton. Remember, he's coming off of a torn pectoral muscle last December. Torn pecs, torn triceps, torn biceps. Seriously look like the most painful injuries of them all. You see them in the NFL all the time where like a guy's literal muscle is in a spot on his body. It should not be. Shout out to Dougie Hamilton. He's found his way back and he's working himself back in. Second pairing, Siegenthaler with Kovacevic. Damn it. Second try, I got it. Luke Hughes with Brett Pesce. This team, look out for them. They can't score goals. But now let's get into it because I've been rushed today. Forgot to even place my bets. But let's get into Bordzy's Bankroll, brought to you by Bet365. Open an account with Bet365 today and bet on a huge range of markets. Bet365, proud partner of Pre-Gaming with Bordsy. Whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Okay, also timeout. I just opened up my phone. The Oilers put the video of Waz on the Jumbotron.
No.
Go check Oilers Nation Instagram right now. What the hell? No. That's good for our boy Waz. If you haven't seen it, it's on YouTube. I watched the whole thing.
Yeah.
And he got up with Oilers TV or whatever. And they interviewed him. Waz looks like a 12-year-old boy with his backpack on and his toque on, talking about all the reasons he loves Derek Ryan. And Derek Ryan knows who Waz is.
Yes, he does. And the reason why I scream in pain is because Waz's ego doesn't need to get any bigger.
No, he deserved that.
Oh,
He's worked for that. Go check it out on our Instagram. I'm sure it's on Twitter, x.com as well. Also, shout out DJ Bean for all of those innuendos. I was giggling away during that. It was pretty funny. But without further ado, pull it up. These are the 3 bets that your pal Bordsy likes tonight in Bordzy's Bankroll. Your first option, Arvidsson, number 33, to find the back of the net. The first line, that line of him, Dry, and Podkolzin, they've controlled 65% of the shots when they are on the ice. And Arvidsson has 17 shots on goal in his last 4 games played. He's due. I also like Podzilla at plus 600, but I don't know. I don't have the guts to do that. I don't have that one. The second one, people might be a little curious as to why that is out there. It's number 25, the Dr. Darnell, to get over 2.5 shots on goal. That is currently plus 132. I do a lot of research into these bets. This is the thing I care about the most on this show. And Darnell Nurse lately, I don't really know why, but in his last 3 games, he has 6, 5, and 4 shots on goal. He has 15 shots on goal in his last 3 games. He's also seen an uptick in minutes in his last 3 games. He was playing roughly 20, 21 minutes a night. Now all of a sudden he's playing 23. We did see in the last game because Ekholm took a penalty as we went on the power play, but Darnell Nurse was on PP1 for an entire shift, so that was different. He's been shooting the puck, and he's the only one with plus money next to 2.5 shots. And then finally, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, baby. Zach Hyman scored in back-to-back games I mentioned the bag milk today. He's like, you're putting it back in? And I went, well, I'll stop when he stops scoring, but I also wagered pretty heavily on number 18 for most of this season, trying to win it back responsibly, though. Only bet what you're willing to lose. Brett, when you look at these three bets, which one is talking your language?
Sorry, actually, I hate to do this to you. We have a trade to announce, and it's via the Edmonton Oilers. The Edmonton Oilers have acquired defenseman Ronnie Attard from the Philadelphia Flyers in exchange for defenseman Ben Gleason. Literally, as you came to me, that was just coming in. So the Oilers have acquired defenseman Ronnie Attard. Chris by 5 to the first person who can tell me where he played junior hockey, because that's a good question, for Ben Gleason. So, yes.
That's good producing. That's good producing.
You want to go back to the bets? Because I do actually. I just fired one off. I do like RV anytime goal. Yep. I'm a big RV guy, and I think this line's going to get going to the point where I actually put a Podzilla first goal scorer down. So, yep. There we go.
Now I need to sprinkle just a little soap, a little responsibly, of course, looking in the YouTube poll. It's number 18, anytime goal. Because as I said, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. All right, everybody, I love you all tonight. Oilers Nation After Dark. I think it's just going to be me and you, Brett. We might have a special appearance from one Wanye, the OG of Oilers Nation. But either way, we'll be here. We'll be breaking it all down. And hopefully talking about an Edmonton Oilers 3-0 record without one Connor McDavid. I love you all. Throw down your courtesy like on the way out, like Mr. Burns always tells you. And a big shouts out to DJ Bean, Brett, everybody in the chat, and of course our sponsors, Short for the Giant, Short Power Sports Marine, Greta Bar Yeg, Bet365, Will Hawk Beef Jerky, Odd Company, and Get Some Oodle Noodle. It's game time. It's Monday night, and it's on Prime. That sounds like an Oodle Noodle night to me. Brett, maybe, you know what, Wednesday. Let's get Oodle Noodle on Wednesday. We can plan out that. We can get our order together. It's going to be 100 green onion cakes. I love you all. Good luck out there on the Bet365 Battlegrounds, and I'll see you right here in this spot following the Edmonton Oilers game in the Dia de los Muertos, Day of the Dead hockey game. Good luck, everybody.